Huge Avalanche move incoming as the team explores their options for signing free agents and continuing to try to build the most adequate roster to chase another franchise Stanley Cup looking ahead into the 2026 season and the seasons to remain after that. Few free agents on the Colorado Avalanche team and the front office trying to decide who they want to keep, who they want to let go, and what other UFAs they potentially want to explore in the off-season market now that they are eliminated from the Stanley Cup playoffs. And we are going to talk about one specific player today and why it would be a huge piece of the puzzle to re-sign him and keep him on this roster for the looking ahead into the future for the Colorado Avalanche. We're going to dive into this specific player, his past and his statistics with this team, as well as why he would continue to be a strong fit on this Colorado Avalanche roster. But before we do so, I want to welcome you to Avalanche Digest here on YouTube. Mark Robinson with you today. Reminder to subscribe to the YouTube channel if you are not subscribed. This is the fastest growing daily and consistent Colorado Avalanche coverage right here on Avs Digest. We give you all the latest, most consistent and accurate news on Colorado Avalanche hockey. Thank you so much for the support. If you're already subscribed, if not, please exit out of the video, hit that subscribe button, and make sure you are dialed in, set, and ready to go for this channel. So subscribe to Avs Digest. Without further ado, let's dive into the YouTube video and talk about Jonathan Drouin. He is a unrestricted free agent as soon as the 2025 season concluded for the Colorado Avalanche, and here are his statistics from this season. 43 games played, 11 goals, 26 assists, totaling for 37 points. Obviously dealt with some injury and other related issues that kept him out of basically half the season. But you can see there in the games that he did play, excuse me, he was almost a point per game player. 37 points in 43 games is a strong stat line for Jonathan Drouin, and he continued to be a strong first-line player working alongside Nathan MacKinnon and Artturi Lehkonen. A very strong asset to this Colorado Avalanche team has been Jonathan Drouin, and in the season prior to this season, the 2023-24 season, he played in 79 of 82 games, and he had a really strong showing and proved that he could be a massive asset to the Colorado Avalanche and that he can continue to be a strong power play aspect to that power play one, playing on that right side, on the right wing alongside MacKinnon. But Jonathan Drouin, if we're able to re-sign him and bring him back onto this Colorado Avalanche roster, would be a huge addition into the continuation of the strong skill and the strong skating that is in this Colorado Avalanche team. So let's dive a little bit more into Jonathan Drouin's history. Started out with the Tampa Bay Lightning, rotating between the Lightning and the Syracuse Crunch, the AHL affiliate. Then was traded to the Montreal Canadiens, played 5-6 seasons with them, and then he was traded to the Colorado Avalanche, where he's now played 2 seasons with the Avs. He had the 2023-2024 season, as we said, 79 games, 19 goals, 37 assists for 56 points. And then you can kind of see that those stats almost improved a little bit, because if you look at the comparison of the games that he played this season, 11 goals, 26 assists for 37 points. He was on pace to beat the previous season that he had if he was able to play more games. He was a -6 at the end of the season. So not obviously the greatest showing for him in this specific season with the Colorado Avalanche, but as I talked about, we see the way that he operates on that power play with Nathan MacKinnon and the speed and the puck movement and the skating ability in Jonathan Drouin. He's an interesting storyline in which, as a free agent, if we're able to land him back on this Colorado Avalanche roster, it's a kind of an expectation that he'll be able to continue to produce at a high level. Obviously, the question has been raised as to whether or not he's just kind of a MacKinnon merchant, is what people call it. It's what that's what Rantanen was referred to after he went cold in Carolina and in the early days with Dallas. But I personally think that his skating ability, his speed, his slap shot, his ability to move the puck is beyond just playing with Nathan MacKinnon, and I think that if he continues to find his rhythm and develop at a high rate as a player, he is going to continue to be a really large asset to the Colorado Avalanche team. In the 2023-24 season, Drouin obviously played 79 of 82 games. He brought up the idea that his time with Colorado could potentially be Nichushkin-like, but then in the 2024-25 season, as we talked about, not necessarily an ideal season for him. He only played in 43 games. We talked about his stat line already, 11 goals, 26 assists, averaged 18 and 11 on the ice. The average time on ice stat is actually the exact same as the year before. Had he been able to play more than 43 games, he likely would have set a career high in that category. Like we said, if we saw him on the ice more, if he was able to shake some of those injuries and some of those issues that were keeping him off of the ice, he hopefully would have been able to continue to develop and find kind of the best rhythm that he had as a player in this specific season. But obviously, unfortunately, that was not the case. Jonathan Drouin was hoping to see the ice a little bit more, but not able to. You know, we've brought this up a few times as far as talking points go for signing free agents and who we think is going to be the best roster addition or roster keep as far as the Avs go. And if Jonathan Drouin is able to stay healthy, he is such a strong first line player. And even if he gets moved around to the second line and plays with some of those lower line players, now that we have Landeskog back, to maybe see Jonathan Drouin and Landeskog on the same line, he's definitely a player that as a UFA, it's an interesting potential signing for Colorado if he's able to stay. And if Colorado's able to get him at a good price, it would be a beneficial addition for the Colorado Avalanche. One thing that might be a disadvantage for Jonathan Drouin is he hasn't played much on a separate line other than the line with Nathan MacKinnon. He's obviously been playing and elevated at that top unit. And like we just talked about, people wonder if he's just another product of that MacKinnon line. Ideally, we don't really want to find that out. If they're able to sign him to another shorter contract, like a 1-2 year deal, the hope that he can continue to play in more games, stay healthy, and set some more career highs, the Avalanche have to find a way to try to sell him on staying another short-term contract, staying another year, and that taking a chance on his health and potentially keeping him would do some good if he wants to try to test free agency in 2026. So obviously we've explored the idea of Jonathan Drouin staying. You know, the other aspect of this, the other side of this, is that other teams are potentially targeting him. Here's a tweet from a Chicago Blackhawks Twitter account outside of Mitch Marner, who's one free agent that the Blackhawks could potentially target. Jonathan Drouin could end up playing in Chicago. That would be an interesting addition for a team like the Blackhawks, who are in the rebuild phase. They have high draft picks. They have Connor Bedard, generational talent who's going to develop into an amazing player. And so this raises the question, too, if the Avs don't re-sign Drouin, who do they target in the free agency market? And who do they try to land as far as more player signings go in the offseason and looking ahead into the 2026 NHL season? My opinion lies on that Jonathan Drouin is a really strong player, and if he's able to stay healthy, and if we're able to sign him on a shorter deal, another 1-2 year contract for not as much money as some of these first-line players, I think he'll continue to develop as a really strong player and be one of those really notable aspects to the Colorado Avalanche roster that can continue to help us propel in the regular season and into the playoffs, looking ahead into some of these seasons in the near future. In the next coming days here on Avalanche Digest, we're going to continue to kind of evaluate and dive into all of these free agents, the free agency market, who the Avs should potentially re-sign, who they should potentially try to trade for some higher value, and what the roster situation is going to continue to look like with the offseason in the near future.